Shakespeare? That's a question that high schoolers have thought about for ages. Still confounds many to this day. But now, we may have the answer.
William Shakespeare, born April 23, 1564, was not a very social boy. He had a basic education, attending grammar school until he was 15. And when he turned 18, he married Anne Hathaway. He was 26. Anne was already pregnant with their first daughter when they got married. Together they had 3 kids, Hamnet, Judith, and Susanna. A commonly thought fact is that the two had a strained marriage. It's unknown when Shakespeare first started in theater, but we do know that he was very active in the industry as both a playwright and an actor. Shakespeare's plays were not always as popular as they are today. When Shakespeare started off as a new playwright, everyone thought he sucked.
You suck! Get off the stage!
Luckily, he eventually became very popular.
We're here walking in the halls of the high school that Shakespeare would have walked in if he went to this high school. Today, we're taking to the halls to find out from some true experts in the field what they think about Shakespeare. A high school student. With yet another expert in the field, a high school student. So, what do you think about Shakespeare?
We're in the Shakespeare unit in my English class, so I don't really know that much. It is pretty boring though, and it's an old dead white dude.
Very true. He is both dead and white. So, what do you think about Shakespeare?
I mean, I can't really understand his language. I just can't.
I agree. Do you have a personal favorite Shakespeare quote?
There is one quote where he specifically writes, "What, you egg?" He stabs him.
That's amazing. Do you in fact have a favorite Shakespeare quote?
I've heard multiple pretty funny quotes. One of my favorite is where he goes like, "What, you egg?" and stabs him.
Very interesting. So far today, that's been a very popular response. Maybe inside, we're all truly eggs who need to be stabbed. And lastly, do you think Shakespeare should be taught in schools?
Yes, if they translate the language.
Well, there you have it. Words from a real high school student. Anyway, do you think Shakespeare should be taught in schools?
No. We've all heard of Shakespeare's classics and may know the effect of his stories have left on society, but how deep does this influence go? Shakespeare died when he was only 52, April 1613, but he left an astounding legacy. Shakespeare is credited to writing 37 plays and 154 sonnets. Many we have heard of, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, and many, many more. As his repertoire grew, so did his influence on society and literature. Many spin-offs of Shakespeare's work have been made that people know of. Disney's The Lion King has a similar plot to Shakespeare's Hamlet, and the popular book, movie, and musical West Side Story is based off of Romeo and Juliet. This comes as no surprise. Many authors have had spin-offs of their most famous works, but is by far Shakespeare's biggest contribution to our culture, and the one that causes the most disbelief is his contribution to our everyday language.
All that glitters is gold. Faint-hearted, recognize any of these phrases? Where do you think they come from? The Bible? Reddit? Well, you may be surprised to hear that these and many other popular phrases were coined by none other than Shakespeare.
And that's not all. Shakespeare is known to have invented over 1,700 words still used in English language. Critic, gloomy, assassination, bedroom, and even the word swagger are words that would not exist without Shakespeare.
And to top it all off, Shakespeare allegedly helped to translate the King James Bible. The King James Bible was published when Shakespeare was 46 years old, and in Psalms 46, if you count 46 words in, it's shake. And if you count 46 words from the bottom, it's a spear. And that's wild. Coincidence? I think not. This is solid proof that Shakespeare was part of the ancient Illuminati. Now, not only was there evidence that he was part of the Illuminati, some folks believe he never existed in the first place. The other found.
So why do we still read Shakespeare? Well,
We can't escape him. He's literally everywhere. Good night, everyone.